Hello, welcome back to our channel again. My name is Esther John. Today, I want to tell you a story that every Nigerian investor should hear about. It is the story of Ibeju Lekki, a story of how people bought land for a few 100,000 naira and watched it become worth millions. This is a story that proves that wealth is often created by seeing opportunities before everyone else does. About 20 to 25 years ago, if someone told you to buy land in Ibeju Lekki, many people would laugh. Back then, Ibeju Lekki was largely known for its fishing communities, farmland, and undeveloped land. To many people, it was simply far from Lagos. There were no mega projects, there was no refinery, there was no deep sea port, there was no massive industrial hub. There was little infrastructure. Because of this, land was very cheap, and many people saw no reason to invest there. In some locations, plots of land sold for as little as 150,000 naira to 500,000 naira per plot. Some people bought, many people ignored it. Some even laughed at those who invested there. But while many people were looking at what Ibeju Lekki was, a few smart investors were looking at what it could become. Then something happened. The Lagos state government unveiled a bold vision through the Lekki Free Trade Zone. The goal was simple: to create a modern economic hub that would attract industries, businesses, investors, and thousands of jobs. As times went on, that vision began to take shape. The Dangote Refinery arrived, the Lekki Deep Sea Port was developed, the Lekki Free Trade Zone expanded, road infrastructure improved, plans for an international airport emerged. More investors started paying attention. Suddenly, the same land people laughed at became the center of attention. What was once considered bush gradually became one of the most talked about investment destinations in Nigeria. As industry moves in, people followed. As jobs increased, demand for housing increased. As development accelerated, land prices began to rise. The same land many people ignored years ago suddenly became highly sought after. Today, depending on location and proximity to key infrastructure, plots in many parts of Ibeju Lekki now sell for several millions of naira, with some locations commanding over 25 million naira per plot. Think about that for a moment. Someone who bought a plot for 500,000 naira years ago could now be sitting on an asset worth several millions of naira. What am I even saying? Is now sitting on an asset worth several of millions of naira. That's the power of vision. That's the power of patience. And that's the power of buying before development arrives. Today, Ibeju is often referred to as the future of Lagos and one of Africa's fastest growing economic corridors. And this is where the lesson becomes important. The people who made the biggest gains were not the people who bought after the refinery was completed. No. They were not the people who bought after the seaport became operational. They were the people who saw the opportunity before everyone else did. That is the real story of Ibeju. Not just a story about land, but a story about vision, a story about patience, and a story about positioning yourself ahead of the crowd. The lesson from Ibeju is simple. The biggest profits in real estate are usually made before the crowd shows up. When everybody starts talking about a location, the smart investors have often bought already. And that brings me to an important question. Where is the next opportunities? As realtors and investment consultants, we are constantly looking for strategic locations with strong growth potential and long-term appreciation. That's why I'm excited to introduce to you one of our property in Ibeju currently selling, the Island Meadows, one of our premium investment opportunities here in Ibeju. Island Meadows is strategically located at Iberekodo Scheme, a few minutes drive from the Pan Atlantic University, Ibeju Lagos. This property comes with government allocation, certificates of occupancy, C of O, giving investors confidence and security in their investments. Now, here is the interesting part. This property is currently going on pre-launch prices, which means investors have the opportunity to buy before the price moves. We have residential plots and commercial plots available. For the residential plots, you can get a 300 square meter for 25 million naira with an initial deposit of 3 million naira. While the 500 square meter is selling for the sum of 32 million naira. With 5 million naira, you can get yourself a plot. And the commercial plot sells for 65 million naira for 1,000 square meter. You can make a deposit of 10 million naira. We also have flexible payment plans available. You can spread your payments for up to 6 months interest free. And if you prefer a longer payment plan, 12 months is available with just 10% interest. As you can see from the flyer displayed on your screen, these prices will not remain the same for long. Once the pre-launch phase is over, the price will increase to reflect the actual market value of properties within this rapidly developing corridor. If you have listened carefully to the story of Ibeju Lekki from the beginning of this video, then you already understand the lesson. The people who made the most money in Ibeju Lekki were the people who bought before the major developments were completed. Today, Ibeju Lekki has become one of the most sought after investment destinations in Nigeria because of the massive developments taking place around the axis. So we have the proposed international airports, we have the Lekki Deep Sea Port, we have the Dangote Refinery, we have the Pan-Atlantic University, we have the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, and many other infrastructure projects that continue to attract businesses, residents, and investors to this corridor. The question is no longer whether Ibeju Lekki will develop. The question is, will you position yourself early enough to benefit from that development? If you want to become part of the smart investors securing property in Ibeju Lekki today, then Island Videos presents an excellent opportunity to do so at the pre-launch price. The people who bought in Ibeju Lekki years ago are smiling today because they acted early. Now, will you wait until everyone is talking about the next growth corridor? Or will you position yourself before the crowd? If you would like more information about Island Meadows or any of our investment opportunities, kindly contact me today on the number showing on your screen. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. My name is Esther John, a real estate consultant with Kazfield Integrated Services Limited. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.